Hey, it's Vicky, and today I am back with another book haul revisit. This is a series of sorts that I've been doing on my channel for a couple of years now. And basically what I do is I revisit an old book haul from my past, and I see what books from that haul I have read, and which ones I haven't, which is more importantly, which ones I have not read. And of the unread pile, I pick one and put it on my next month's TBR. So in the event that I have read all the books, and that has happened only one time, but in the event that that happens, I pick a book from a previous book haul revisit that I still have on my shelves. And trust me, there are still quite a few of them. So today we are going to be going back to January 2021 and seeing what books I hauled. So let's go. Hey guys, it's Vicky, and today I am here with a book haul. I got some books for Christmas. A couple were gifts, and the rest I bought for myself with gift cards and things that I got for Christmas. And so I wanted to share them with you, so let's go ahead and get right into the book haul. Okay, so the first book that I got this book for Christmas from one of my best friends, Becca, and I'm really excited about it. It is Bonk by Mary Roach, and a couple of months ago I read Stiff by Mary Roach, and I actually borrowed that book from my friend Becca, and she got me this one for Christmas. This one, because Mary Roach all of her books kind of tackle different things about life and human nature from like a science perspective. Stiff was about human cadavers, and Bonk is about sex. So this book is basically about the science of sex and how orgasms and things like that work scientifically, and answers, you know, some of the questions that people might have. So I have not read Bonk. So there we go. First book, unread. And then the other gift that I got for Christmas was from my husband. And to be honest, he told me he got this book because he went to my Amazon wish list and it was one of the first ones. And so he just got it. He didn't know anything about it. He was just like, yeah, sure, that one looks good. But I'm glad he got this one because I'm really intrigued by it. And this is called Golem Girl by Riva Lehrer. And this is a memoir about Riva, who was born in the late 50s with spina bifida and was basically raised constantly being told that, you know, she was disabled and that she had to be fixed, and surgery this and therapy that, and her quality of life, basically she was constantly told like her quality of life was basically going to suck and stuff like that. And then she got into adulthood and joined up with this group of artists who were basically all of like anti that sort of feeling about disability. They felt more like, no, you need to, you know, take your disability and use it as an advantage for creativity and for perspective, and, you know, you shouldn't feel limited by your disability and all of those sorts of things. And it totally changed her mindset about her condition. Okay, so I have read Golem Girl. I read it, I think last year actually, and it was a really good memoir. I really liked it. I liked Riva's voice in the book and just her personality and everything. It was a really good memoir. I believe I gave it 4 stars. So yay, that's one for the red pile. Okay, then the rest of the books I purchased myself with gift cards and cash and stuff that I got for Christmas. So I've got, 5 here. Okay. So the first one that I picked up is Go Tell It on the Mountain by James Baldwin. And if you saw my reading goals for 2021, I mentioned that I really want to read more classics, and James Baldwin is an author that I have never tried. And so I'm gonna start with Go Tell It on the Mountain, which is a day in the life story about a 14-year-old boy living in Harlem in the 1930s. And it's just you spend a day with him, and it kind of chronicles his kind of questioning and grappling with various things about his life, you know, his sexuality. His stepfather is a minister, and so he's also kind of grappling with religion and things like that, and just kind of starting to, like a lot of teenagers, kind of question the world around him. Okay, so funny thing, I have not technically read Go Tell It on the Mountain, but it was on my TBR for this month and I just haven't quite read it yet. It's the last book on my list to read, so it's like next up on the docket. So technically it's an unread book, but I'm planning on reading it within the next few days. Okay, the next book that I picked up is The Devil All the Time by Donald Ray Pollock, and I picked this up because I really want to watch the Netflix movie, but I need to read the book first. So I'm hoping to read this and do a Flicks and Lit video for it. And this one I first heard about, I want to say on Paperback Dreams channel. Her dad read this book and really loved it, and so he convinced me. So thank you, Kat's dad. I think his name's Larry. Thank you, Larry, because I picked this up because of him. This one deals with a guy living in Ohio, I think. Yeah, the backwoods of Ohio. His wife is ill. He has a teenage son that is, you know, going through the teenage thing where he's, you know, coming of age, being a teenager sort of thing. And then it just kind of chronicles his life and the people in his community, which I've heard is the kind of what makes this book amazing, is that the characters, there are so many just very layered and interesting characters in this book. It's a very character-driven story, and I'm really excited about it. Okay, so that description of The Devil All the Time is like, it's accurate, but it's also like, I feel like it's so much more than that. I read this book a couple years ago, and it was a 5-star read. I absolutely loved this book. It was one of my favorite books of the year. And yeah, it does deal with that particular character, but it chronicles other people too. And all of them are these very flawed, like living in the gray sort of characters, but it was so interesting. And it's one of those books where at first you don't really see how all these people are connected, and then slowly it kind of comes together, and the ending just like blew my mind. I absolutely love this book. If you are at all interested, you need to read it. It's awesome. So technically we are tied, 2 unread, 2 read, though one of the unreads is technically like, I'm gonna read it soon, but it's still tied, 2 for 2. Okay, so the book I really wanted for Christmas that I was kind of hoping I would get, but I didn't, so I got it for myself. That was like the first book that when I didn't get it for Christmas, I was like, I'm buying this book, is A Promised Land by Barack Obama. Everybody knows what this book is, right? This is the first book in Barack Obama's presidential memoirs, and I'm really excited to read this because I just find it fascinating to read about big public figures like a president and what it's like to be kind of like in the spotlight like that. I don't read a lot of like celebrity memoirs and things, but that is always something that kind of interests me. Okay, so I'm gonna stop myself there. I did read Promised Land and I really enjoyed it. I listened to it on audio. It was narrated by Barack Obama, so I highly recommend taking that route if you want, because it is a very long book. And if I remember right, it basically was like his first, was it even his entire first term? Was it? I think it might have been. Gosh, I don't even know. I think I ended up giving it 4 stars because though it was very kind of eye-opening just to see what was kind of going on behind the scenes during his presidency, I also felt like it was at times a little bit slow and stuff, and some of the politics didn't like totally hold my interest. But yeah, if you're at all interested in Obama's presidency, obviously you should check this out. It's definitely worth it. You get a lot of great info, and yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to seeing when the next volume is going to come out. I will definitely be checking that out. Okay, so then there was something else in my 2021 reading goals that I forgot to mention, and that was that I want to read more poetry. I know I say this all the time and then I don't end up doing it, but it is a goal of mine to try to read more poetry than I did last year. Last year I read 1 poetry collection, and so as long as I read at least more than 1, I will have met my goal. So I was in Target about a week ago, and I came across this poetry collection. And this is a poet that has a lot of collections out there that when I see them, I'm always intrigued, but I was always kind of like, I didn't know if I would really like them or not, but this one, for some reason, I don't know if it's the title or what, just kind of jumped out at me. And I was like, you know what? I've been saying I want to read more poetry. Here's a poetry collection that is kind of catching my interest. What am I doing? Just buy it. So I picked up Break Your Glass Slippers by Amanda Lovelace. And Amanda Lovelace has a few collections out, and all of them seem to center around a specific fairy tale, or like a fairy tale trope or something like that. So obviously this one deals with Cinderella. And I think the reason that this one appealed to me title-wise, Break Your Glass Slippers, I think it's because it reminds me of the glass ceiling and like breaking the glass ceiling. So I'm thinking this is gonna have a lot of like talk of, you know, female empowerment, I'm hoping, but it's probably also going to deal with things that you see in the Cinderella fairy tale, kind of your place in the world and where you want to be in the world versus where you are, you know, having aspirations. And obviously, because we're also talking about like princesses and fairy tales, dealing with like images of like beauty, what is beauty and all that sort of thing. So, okay, so I did read Break Your Glass Slippers. I think I read it in 2021, actually. And I gave it 3 stars, I believe. I think that as a collection, like, there were definitely a few poems that really spoke to me, that I really liked, that I ended up sort of dog-earing or whatever to kind of like reference back later. But they weren't like mind-blowing poems, but they were easy to digest, and I did like them, and a lot of the themes that I kind of talked about here were present, and I liked it. So yeah, it was a 3-star. It wasn't like amazing, but I did like it. So now we are at 4 red and 2 unread. And then the last one that I picked up is one I'm going to be reading this month because I have to keep going with this series. I picked up Saga Volume 3. I'm so hooked on this series, and yeah, I'm excited. So yeah, this one is just a continuation of our story. I can't really say much more because it's the 3rd volume. I totally read Saga Volume 3. I actually have read all of the Saga volumes except for the very last one, Volume 10. I hope I might be able to get to it this month, but I also have kind of been putting it off because it is the last one and I don't want it to end, because that series is amazing and it's definitely one that I will reread. It was just so good. And like, honestly, the way that Volume 9 ended, I was like so upset. So I don't even know what Volume 10 is gonna bring, but yeah, Saga as a whole, definitely check that series out. It's totally worth it. Okay, so we had 7 books total in the book haul, and I had 5 that I read and 2 that were unread, but one of them was Go Tell It on the Mountain, which I am going to be reading next. So that leaves 1 book that I did not read from this haul, and that is Bonk by Mary Roach. So I'm going to be reading this one next month in February. I believe I can get the audiobook for this on Scribd. We'll see, but either way, you guys don't care how I read it, I don't think, but yeah, I'm gonna be reading Bonk next month. All right, guys, so there you have it. There is my book haul revisit from January 2021. Please let me know if you read any of these books and what you thought of them, because I would love to know what everybody thought. Quite a few of the ones in this one ended up being like really good reads. So it was a good haul overall. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will chat with you soon. Thank you so much for watching.